the driver, does it? Well, once this one boots up, we'll be able to watch a video here in just a few minutes. But until then, we just hang tight.
Nobody have boots on this morning?
If I have boots on, we're waiting for it to boot. I'm gonna wear them again next week, and that'll be rebooting. All right. That'll come up here in a few. When it does, we'll watch a video. I don't care when the service it is, we'll just do it. Everybody cool with that? Now or never. Now or never. Oh, it's doing stuff there. It's booting. You'll see it boot here in a minute. So this has been booting for about 5 minutes now, just to let you know what the... Hey!
Hey, I got a question.
Yeah.
That thing you got you moving around, is that a church mouse?
Yeah.
I got that one from getting told.
Boo this. Yeah, boo this man. All right. While that boots, so let's go ahead and stand and sing our opening hymn and get us all riled up and ready to go. So everybody stand up and sing. You'll have to do it in your hymnals though, because we don't have the lyrics right now. So it's in your hymnals, page 708. Rejoice in God's saints. Let's go ahead and stand and sing that together. Because life is not always perfect, is it? Has anybody got a perfect life out there? Does everything go as planned, according to your plans, I guess? I think we'll be just fine. Let's go ahead and start off with our children's moment this morning. Guys, why don't you head on up here and we'll get our kids going. You gonna sit up here with us? All right. Can you guys? Let's quiz the kids here. Can you guys tell me what we talked about last week at Children's Mall? Do you remember? What happened? Didn't you guys get something? Get taken away? Yeah. We talked about Job, didn't we? We started talking about Job. You remember Job? You remember what happened to him? Bad stuff happened to him, didn't it? Yeah, that's kind of a bummer. It's a real bummer. But, Job's friends, they were not so nice to Job even after this. So can you imagine like all this bad stuff happening to you? Just terrible stuff. And instead of your friends like comforting you and like being there for you, they keep just kind of razzing you, saying, this must have happened for a reason. Like you must have done something bad for all this bad stuff to happen to you. That'd make you feel pretty alone, wouldn't it? Like you feel like God's kind of deserted you, and then you feel like all the people around you have kind of left you alone for your own problems. That'd be tough, wouldn't it? That'd be tough. Where's the giggling at? Yeah, so sometimes in our life we can feel kind of alone, can't we? And you ever go to bed and your mom and dad turn off the lights and they're just like not even 20 feet away in reality, but you feel really alone, don't you? Have you ever felt that way? I still feel that way. I know when my wife's putting the boys to bed and I'm in the bed alone, I feel really alone just because it's dark and there's no one there, right? You ever feel that way? But it's interesting that how close those people are in reality, but to us at that moment we feel so alone, don't we? Sometimes that's how it is with God. We feel that God is so very far away, that God is very distant from us. But in reality, he's so very close to us. But we're in the dark, aren't we? We feel like we're so alone because we're in that dark place. But God is with us all the time. We've got to remember that, right? Do you have to tell yourself that when your parents in the other room? It's like, it's okay, they're just down the hall. If something happens, they're just right there, I'm okay. Well, that's what we got to do as Christians too, and as believers. We need to remind ourselves in those really dark times, in those times that we feel like everybody else has left us alone, that we feel like no one's there for us, we feel so deserted, that it's okay. God is there. I just have to trust that he's right there. If anything goes wrong, I can just call on God, and he'll be right there for me. Right? All right. Let's pray. Lord gracious God, we just thank you for these young people, and we ask that you remain close to them in all that they do. Lord, when the times in our lives come that we are scared, we are alone, that we feel like no one is there for us, that we can always have faith and trust that you are right there, that when we call upon your name, you will answer us, that you will be there for us, to comfort us, to love us in all that we do. It's in your holy name that we pray. Amen. Psalm 22, 1 through 15 says, my God, why have you abandoned me? Why are you so far away when I groan for help? Every day I call to you, my God, but you do not answer. Every night I lift my voice, but I find no relief, yet you are holy. Enthroned on the praises of Israel, our ancestors trusted in you, and you rescued them. They cried out to you and were saved. They trusted in you and were never disgraced. But I am a worm not a man. I am scorned and despised by all. Everyone who sees me mocks me. They sneer and shake their heads, saying, "Is this the one who relies on the Lord? Then let the Lord save him. If the Lord loves him so much, let the Lord rescue him. Yet you brought me safely from my mother's womb and led me to trust you at my mother's breast. I was thrust into your arms at my birth. You have been my God from the moment I was born. Do not stay so far away from me, for trouble is near, and no one else can help me. My enemies surround me like a herd of bulls. Fierce bulls of Bashan have hemmed me in. Like lions, they open their jaws against me, roaring and tearing into their prey. My life is poured out like water, and all my bones are out of joint. My heart is like wax melting within me. My strength has dried up like sun-baked clay. My tongue sticks to the roof of my mouth. You have laid me in the dust and left me for dead. The word of God for the people of God.
Thanks be to God.
We're going to talk a little bit more about that. That was actually from Psalms, not our man Job, but we can definitely, if we remember last week, remember what Job is going through, and this week we're going to talk a little bit more. His troubles are compounded by his buddies. So we'll talk a little bit more about that. If I could at this moment have my ushers come forward for our time of offering. Tight-fisted and fearful that sharing with others will leave us empty-handed. As we bring these gifts to your altar, give us the eyes to see and the hearts to know that you never desert us and never send us away in need. In the name of your Son, who came to remind us of your closeness and to give us life so that ours might be eternal. Amen. And as we go into this time of offering, I have a special request. And I try not to do this very often, I know. We have a particular person who's very close to this church. Family members are members here at this church. Not that that should even matter, but someone who's very close to this church is going through a time of need right now. They're really struggling, not just with health. Huge issue right now in this woman's life, but she's unable to work at this moment and is just needing some assistance. This is a gal who has been to our mother-daughter banquets, a gal who has attended our services, and a gal who is feeling very distant from God right now and could really use some help. Like I said, try not to do this very often, but I'm calling on us as a church family. Like I said, it shouldn't matter if they're a member here or not, but they are connected to this church. And if you need more information, I'd love to talk to you about it after church. She's got a young baby in need of diapers and some other things like that. And I would, if you would, be willing to. There's those little envelopes in your pews there. Your tithes and offerings today are important to our church, important to the function of our church, but in my heart, it's more important to serve people that really need it, and this is a time that somebody really needs it. So if you would, in your tithes and offerings, and this is up to you, if God puts it on your heart, designate on that envelope special offering. And if God so leads you to do that, wonderful. And we'll take that and we will assist her with that. We're going to assist her from the church a little bit as well. But we were just hoping as a church family we can come together, step up, and help this particular young lady who needs some assistance. So if you would, do that for me, for her beautiful little baby, and her family. So that being said, I thank you in advance for that. So close, you guys, to watching a wonderful video. Oh man, we are so close. Can you feel the anticipation in the air? Oh my goodness. While we wait just a little bit longer, we'll go through our praises and prayers today. I wanted to start. I'm going to go off on a little tangent here. I want to start with a praise/prayer concern. And I'm going to let you guys figure out which is which here and why and what. This past week was the first time that the numbers for our nursing home worship services were more than our regular attending worship service here at Tyler Memorial. Let that marinate for a minute. This past week was the first time we served more and worshiped more people in the nursing homes than here at Tyler Memorial United Methodist Church. We had 60 people last Sunday. We worshiped 80 in the nursing home. Praise,
Yes.
but a real concern. You tell me why. You don't have to tell me. I'm so thankful that and a lot of these folks aren't our members, obviously. But a lot of folks in here aren't members either, so I don't see much difference. We serve 80 people, worship 80 people in nursing homes in a 1 week period. We worshiped 60 here in 1 week period. That's a praise and a concern. If you don't know why that's a concern, well, then talk to me after church and we can talk more. If you look around today, we're pretty meager numbers today, and we don't like to talk about these kind of things. We don't like to there's probably reasons for it. The Buckeyes played last night, whatever. We can always make excuses and find reasons why, this or that. But if you look at our numbers, I'm not a numbers guy. I don't really care about membership. I don't really care about those kind of things, because if you're here to worship, you're here to worship, and I love that, and I appreciate that. But if you enjoy this church, if this is your church home and your church family, and you love what Tyler Memorial stands for, what we do here, what it has always done, the legacy that it stands for and represents, then you should be concerned that our numbers have gradually started going down for some time. And that's not just us, it's a lot of places. But if this is somewhere that you love and respect, this is somewhere that you feel fed and led, I hate to be blunt, but it's not going to be much more of that down the road if our numbers continue to go down. And I take my responsibility as just as much as anybody, but I posted the thing on Facebook the other day that why most people start coming to church or begin attending a church, and the overwhelming percentage is folks who have been invited by a friend. Has nothing to do with the pastor. It's a little bit to do with the pastor. I'm trying. I'm really trying. I promise you guys, I'm trying. But if we want to see this church thrive and grow and remain a staple in our community, in Chillicothe, in this town, then something needs to be done. Something needs to happen. And if you have some suggestions for me or the worship team or for our leadership team, we're just starting our new fiscal year here, or our new year with we're getting ready to do our charge conference. We have a new leadership team coming up. If you have any suggestions, ideas, concerns, this is your church. This is some place that you love and you would like to see be around for some time, maybe your children or your children's children. If you would like to see that happen, we need to do something, folks. And I'd like to know what it is. I'd be happy to do it, whatever it is. I mean, if it's something I can do, please tell me. If it's something we can do, please tell us. But I have a feeling there is definitely something that you can do. As church members, as church attenders, as our congregation, I know for a fact that you are the number one reason why someone will come here or not. And I'm praying for us, praying for all of us. Remember a couple weeks ago, talked about we're going to hold each other accountable. And I like to step on toes. I like to challenge us. Heck, 2 years ago, let me tell you this. One thing I brag about, 2 years ago on the PPR review that got turned into the district, one of my negative things was that I challenged you all too much. And I wear sandals. Those are the two things. Turn those into the district every time. I'm going to challenge you all. That's my job, dang it. It's my job. But it's your all's job to challenge each other too, and to lift up each other and encourage each other. If you love this place, if you want to see this place grow and thrive, bring people in here. Invite them in. That's the only way we're going to do this. And if you've got suggestions for us, please come to us. As the leadership team, it's not just me up here. We've got a whole big group of people that run this church or provide for this church services in some way. And if we can do something different that's not working, let us know. But I promise you, it'll be way easier for you just to turn to a neighbor, turn to a friend on the street. Next time you're talking on the phone with your buddy, say, hey man, we got a great church service. Why don't you come with me this Sunday? And don't take no for an answer. I don't think we even have 60 in here today. 65? Prove me wrong. Now, if everybody brought one friend, we'd be pretty close to breaking attendance records. One friend. Does everybody in here have one friend at least?
They already go here.
They already go. There we go. Your one friend already goes here? That's good. But they don't even have to be your friend. That's the coolest thing about it. In fact, it would probably mean a whole lot more if it was someone else that needed a friend. So let's step up. Let's take our responsibility seriously. That's how the kingdom of God multiplies. Not one preacher up here evangelizing and converting 300 and something people. It's each disciple of Christ touching another life, reaching out, inspiring, loving like God loves us. That's how the kingdom of God multiplies. Let's do that. Let's challenge ourselves. So blessing and a curse, blessing and a prayer concern that 80 people nursing home, 60 people Tyler Memorial. I'm a little concerned, but I'm also excited about it because I feel like this fire that hopefully has been lit under your butts today might start something big here. Because we're in need, guys. I mean, look around. I'm just being honest with us. Because I love you guys, I love this church, I want to see it grow and thrive. So if we're honest with ourselves, we can understand that we have a large burden set upon our shoulders right now. So let's go out, go for it, okay? Go get them, team, right? Yeah, rah. That was my inspirational speech. I also want to lift up an unspoken prayer. Ned Barnhart and Megan Gibson. The Ison family. Stevie went to be with our Lord Tuesday at age 44. Second 40-plus child his mom Pam has lost in 2 years. Lifting up definitely the Ison family. Especially. And Pat Odell is having some health problems as well. Anybody else?
Pastor,
Yes.
I'd like to ask for prayer that the Lord would give discernment and wisdom to our church officers as we meet tomorrow evening in a finance committee meeting, followed by the administrative council meeting. Trailing on what you said, very important meeting for us to have. So tomorrow, our finance committee meeting, and then our administrative council meeting. We ask the Lord's discernment as the church officers meet. Thank you.
Yeah, Nancy said PPR meeting before that too. So we've got all of our church leadership meeting tomorrow. And you know, I don't know if we're allowed. I don't think it's an issue. It might be a good time if anybody does have concerns or thoughts or suggestions. I'm sure we can have an open time. Of course, a lot of that will be a closed meeting. But it might be a good time if you do have some concerns, thoughts, or just something you'd like to express to us as a church family, as the leadership team. It might be a good time for you. So keep that in mind. Anybody else?
I think Pastor Kirsch meets before.
Yeah, at 5 o'clock. It's 5, 6, and 7, I believe. Is that right?
5:30.
It's actually 5. I was wrong, Dick.
Or
It's 5. I was wrong. It's 5.
5, okay.
Yeah. If anybody wants to come to the PPR meeting, obviously the portion of that PPR meeting is closed. But however, at the beginning of that meeting, if anybody wants to come and talk to the members of the PPR meeting individually or in an open arena, or however you want to word that, feel free to come down, let us know. That's how we find out how the congregation's going, what's the thought process, and what the pastor was talking about. We have some, our numbers are down, so, bring that information to me, what makes you think, and stuff like that. Anything that we could do better better what we're doing as far as the council goes. Okay?
Can I make a suggestion? Could we have each committee stand up so people know who's on it? If they would prefer to go to a person that they know, then they could.
Yeah, that's a good, that's a fine idea. Those committees will be changing though,
Okay.
very soon.
Well,
And
for
we'll
this-
have an introductory, sorry. The video's working? Sure, yeah, for now, that'd be great. If any of the admin council, the finance council, the PPR, go ahead and stand up just so folks know who you are. And then, but just keep in mind also that will be changing next week, so some will be changing. Everybody knows you. I mean, you're the boss. So any of these folks right here that are standing up right now can definitely, and Dick's got his hand up. Is that a suggestion or you just, okay. So any of those folks, definitely people you can talk to if you've got some ideas, suggestions, or if you want to get involved. Like that's the cool thing about church too is, like you don't have to wait to be asked. Like if you want to get involved and you love this place, do something, do it. It'd be great. Anybody else? This is good. I like these open, honest.
I have
randoms.
something, one thing.
You have one. Yes.
I have one thing.
Yeah.
I already had,
Okay.
well, this is my second thing. Is it okay if I come up?
Oh, whoa. Oh, yeah.
Alright, so does anybody know today's October 14th, obviously? Does anybody know what today is?
Pastor Appreciation.
Sunday.
It's Sunday, yes. It's also Pastor Appreciation Day. Okay, didn't know if anybody realized that or not. I don't know about you guys, but I do appreciate Pastor Sam. I think he's done wonderful for what we've done. We are having a little cake and ice cream downstairs immediately following the service. So please come down, have cake, ice cream. There's coffee down there. And also, we have a gift card. Woo! Gift card for you and your family for everything that you do.
Thank you, buddy.
All right?
Appreciate it. Thank you. And this is going to extend my challenge even more though. You want to show your appreciation for me. I love gift cards, don't get me wrong. Next week, let's fill this place up. Next week, let's see some people here. If you want to show some appreciation, if you want to really light my heart up, if you want to see me smile, if you want to see me grin like I've been eating something I ought not to, then bring some folks here with you next week. Oh my goodness, how much I would appreciate that. I'll take you all. I'll buy something like this for every person that brings a friend. We'll take this back to you. Thank you guys, appreciate it. But that will show the ultimate appreciation for me if you guys keep this wonderful organization, this wonderful family alive and thriving by bringing people in. Thanks, Travis. I appreciate that. We're going to Sizzler tonight, honey. Do they have Sizzler out there? All right. Before we close in prayer, let's go ahead. This is our praise for our bell excursion. Can I call it that? Yes. Our handbell excursion. Jake Vollmer's put together a cool video. I have not screened this yet, so Lord knows what's on it, but it should be okay.
We just had fun.
That's what I'm worried about. Oh, okay, so you guys can, I got you. Yeah, I got you. All right, so here we go.
tuckered out.
That's all right. We can always get pictures of Jake too.
No, you can't hardly.
No, we can't. You're right. All right. So that is a praise. Thank goodness they made it back safely and didn't get arrested or anything along the way. So, does anybody else have a praise or prayer request that they'd like to lift up before we go to the Lord in prayer? Let's bow our heads. Gracious God, we just thank you for all the blessings in our lives. We lift up each and every single person here today, all those who can't be with us today. Lord, we just lift up our very own hearts. We ask that on the mountaintops or in the valleys, Lord, that you keep our eyes fixed on you. That you inspire us, encourage us, fan the flames of our souls. Lord, give us the strength and courage to be disciples, to be followers of Christ. Lord, give us the direction, the discernment as a church to be the church that you would want us to be, to serve all your children, to love all God's people. Lord, we just thank you for the opportunity and the responsibility to call ourselves your church. We thank you for teaching us to pray. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. And now the moment you all have been waiting for.
I don't even know what that moment is. We had talked and talked and talked about we needed another time to put together the people who call themselves the Mill Street Band. And since we lose the Swepstons soon because of the cold weather, look at that smile on Betson's face. So anyhow, we definitely want to put together one more time using the talent of this church and how wonderful they've been to work with. So we have Swepstons on the dulcimers and pastor guitar and lead vocals every now and then, Steve Hummel on bass. And this morning I'm going to substitute the auto harp for the piano. And of course our wonderful choir members that we have this morning. Words are going to be, now Pastor, you got that working? Well, they're familiar, I think, to quite a few people. Pastor said he didn't know any of them, but whatever. But anyhow, like that, we put together some numbers that, your heart's in there, just join us. We're just going to do some special music this morning for the Middle Street Band. And then just in conjunction to thank you, Jake, for putting that together. The bells have started practice. It was a little shaky in the beginning. We all couldn't remember what bell we played, So anyhow, we had to work that all out again. But they do sound lovely. So next bell practice is Wednesday at 6. And then we'll go straight into choir practice right after. But several have suggested to me we need to meet once a week, so just try to find a day that we could do that. So anyhow, the bells are underway, and definitely you will hear them at Christmas. So we ready? Mark it off. See you Wednesday at 6.
You can be here, Connie, but nobody else will.
You can play all the bells, Connie. Okay. Are we in luck, Pastor, with words or not?
No.
Okay, our first song is The Beautiful Garden of Prayer.
Jesus is waiting.
Morning. All right. So today's the second week of the mystery series that we started last week. Last week we learned about all the stuff Job lost, and now Job is deep into the trials that have been set upon him, and he's in the company of his friends who are trying to counsel him. But he's too far into his own darkness to listen at this point, and he's wallowing in his own self-pity. And there aren't many who blame him for complaining. So this week we start with Job 23, 1 through 17. And Job spoke again. My complaint today is still a bitter one, and I try hard not to groan aloud. If only I knew where to find God, I would go to his court, I would lay my case and present my arguments. Then I would listen to his reply and understand what he says to me. Would he use his great power to argue with me? No. He would give me a fair hearing. Honest people can reason with him. So I would be forever acquitted by my judge. I go east, but he is not there. I go west, but I cannot find him. I do not see him in the north, for he is hidden. I look to the south, but he is concealed. But he knows where I am going, and when he tests me, I will come out as pure as gold, for I have stayed on God's paths. I have followed his ways and not turned aside. I have not departed from his commands, but have treasured his words more than daily food. But once he has made his decision, who can change his mind? Whatever he wants to do, he does. So he will do to me whatever he has planned. He controls my destiny. No wonder I am so terrified of his presence. When I think of it, terror grips me. God has made me sick at heart. The Almighty has terrified me. Darkness is all around me. Thick, impenetrable darkness is everywhere. Pretty dark place Job's in right now. And it's not something that we haven't all been in dark places. He won't be the first, and he won't be the last. When writing letters from a Birmingham jail, the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. penned these words. There comes a time when the cup of endurance runs over, and men are no longer willing to be plunged into an abyss of injustice where they experience the bleakness of corroding despair. The power of his words flow like water spilling from a broken cup. The journey toward reconciliation and justice was marked by bouts of loneliness, criticism, and violence. He records from prison the overwhelming amount of personal sacrifice he was willing to endure for the mere hope of securing a better future for all people. He wrote to his peers, pastors, ministers, community leaders, and public servants in the Birmingham area, seeking both their support and understanding because he felt their criticism and rejection. No one is exempt from feeling isolated or deserted. As disciples of Jesus Christ, we are called to transform this dark world with the light of Christ. However, it is human nature to feel forsaken when we lack support and encouragement. I'm going to say it again. It is human nature to feel forsaken when we lack support and encouragement. Jesus, as well, was no stranger to feeling deserted. While hanging from the cross, the mixture of blood and tears streamed from Jesus' limp body. The passion of Christ is evident in the last cry, my God, why have you left me?" Can you imagine the pain? The agony? The measure of love it takes to sacrifice one's life for another. What does it feel like to be punished for the wrongdoings of everyone else? Why would someone risk their lives to make others free? And why must the cause of justice demand such isolation? Dr. Martin Luther King, Jesus, and even Job are leaders who have faced feeling deserted. These men of morality show a level of leadership that many are unwilling to embrace. They are willing to risk their lives for the cause of integrity, for righteousness, and in the pursuit of remaining committed to God. The book of Job presents a theological view of God that is contradictory to the loving, caring, just, and kind God predominantly illustrated in the contemporary Christian church. Sorry. Job presents a God who instigates suffering in the lives of those who are righteous. Job discusses the problem of suffering and isolation by the hand of God. He explores the ramifications of what is just within the parameters of suffering without cause or sin. Job as a character is innocent, just, and moral. Yet he suffers, is deserted, and is condemned by friends and family without wrongdoing. Why would God do this to an innocent man? Job enlists the language of the court to argue his innocence before God as a way to defend his honor. He begins with a bitter complaint against God, who has given him a heavy hand. In the first verse, he struggles internally regarding if God is listening, present, or even concerned with his argument or case. In verses 4 through 6, he states, "There are those who do the right thing can argue with him. I would escape from my judge forever." And in the 7th verse, Job seeks God's relief to uphold justice. However, the text implies that God doesn't govern the world with justice, because Job, in his innocence, still suffers. Job feels utterly deserted. He seeks to discover God. In the east and in the west, he looks in the north and the south and concludes, I don't see him. Can it be that we are mentally occupied with what we are experiencing in life, that we find it difficult to see God in our circumstances? Ultimately, Job's current circumstances led to his present state of feeling deserted. He assumes God neglects justice because God appears to be indifferent to his case. Job knows God is a lover of justice, but Job cannot see God. Martin Buber expresses Job's paradox using these words. Job's faith in justice is not broken down, but he is no longer able to have a single faith in God and justice. Although God and justice are not mutually aligned in his current situation. He cannot forgo his claim that they will again be united somewhere, sometime, although he has no idea in his mind how that will be achieved. Therefore, Job shows us the difficult aspect of what it means to be a faithful Christian, even during isolating times. Job maintains hope, even though Job cannot see God. God is mindful of Job. Hope is an assurance in God, even when God's justice is elusive and God's presence is a mystery. Hope in this sense is not just a belief or an expectation. Hope is something that we live for, strive for, and long for, not just for ourselves, but for others as well. Job hopes for justice and hopes for God, even when he cannot exclusively see God and justice in his current state. In the letter from a Birmingham jail, Dr. King states, "I have no fear about the outcome of our struggle in Birmingham, even if our motives are presently misunderstood. We will reach the goal of freedom in Birmingham and all over the nation, because the goal of America is freedom. There will be moments when justice seems to be eluded by divine indifference. During the times we feel deserted, let us hold fast to hope, because though we cannot see, God is present in our hope, and justice will eventually be attained. Let us pray. We know, O Lord, that if we follow close to you, nothing shall be able to separate us from your love. Give us the grace today to make your work our home, that we may know you more clearly and serve you evermore. Thank you for being as close to us as a prayer. Please help us be faithful in worshiping you. Thank you for loving us all the time, even when we do not realize it. We pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
What a wonderful message. Let's stand now and sing our closing hymn, number 474, and you will have to look at your hymnals. Precious Lord, take my hand. Says, "For the word of God is alive and powerful, sharper than the sharpest two-edged sword, cutting between soul and spirit, between joint and marrow. It exposes our innermost thoughts and desires. Nothing in all creation is hidden from God. Everything is naked and exposed before his eyes, and he is the one to whom we are accountable. So then, since we have a great high priest who has entered heaven, Jesus, the Son of God, let us hold firmly to what we believe. This high priest of ours understands our weaknesses, for he faced all the same testings we do, yet he did not sin. So let us come boldly to the throne of our gracious God. There we will receive his mercy, and we will find grace to help us when we need it most. So we go into this world. Let's invite some friends. Be intentional in our outreach. Intentional in our outreach. Intentional in our outreach. Intentional in our outreach. Inspirational in our discipleship. And unconditional in our love. Shalom.